city. Derby Cathedral, for example, offers a really wide range of cultural events, and they support the Music in Schools programme, which has already reached over 2,000 children, bringing really high quality musical education to so many. And to hear the voices fill the cathedral creates moments that really nourish the soul. And I'm a bit biased because my son sings in Derby Cathedral Choir, but it does mean that I have gone because I have to when I'm collecting him, but it means that you carve out a little bit of time and just have those moments of peace. And I think it's a pity that actually we don't have more people taking advantage of those kind of experiences that are actually happening across our city. And I have seen the cathedral from all sorts of different angles, including the top of the cathedral tower when I abseiled down it, raising money for Rainbow's Hospice. And no pun intended, but I've roped Baggy, that my friend and neighbour, the MP for Derby South, into doing it when we'll both be doing it to raise money for Derby and Burton Hospital. But I'm usually in the city centre every week, but today I was out and was there for the St George's Day celebrations in the marketplace and saw a very beautiful puppet dragon and loads of children playing with swords and shields and waving the St George's flag, and it was such a positive and wonderful time and image for me. But we have all seen the St George's cross that so many of us are so proud of be used to divide and to intimidate as well. And I think it has often been in times, in our darkest times, where the light of faith has shone brightest. And some of you may remember the summer of 2024, the bile and aggression when far-right thugs spilled out across the country and communities were scared. The prospect of continued violence left many people feeling unsafe in their communities, on their streets, and in their homes. Yet the resounding image from that summer for me was one of a unity of faith, because in Derby, the threats of violence never materialised. In Derby, we saw some peaceful counter-protests attended by a broad range of social and religious organisations. And what I saw was a community of religions united against hate, and of Christian priests sharing tea with Muslim teachers. And I was reminded that those who seek to co-opt our culture and our history and sometimes our religion will never succeed, because our values are real and they are lived every day in our communities. And it is that shared humanity, a commitment to one another, that we must treasure. And some argue that religion can be a source of division, particularly in diverse societies. But I think the greater risk to cohesion is not diversity, but disengagement. And faith groups offer a counterbalance to the individualization and the physical isolation that we often see growing in the modern world. A cohesive society is a healthier society, and faith groups create the spaces where people gather, interact, and participate in shared activities. Every week I and Labour Party volunteers go out and we knock on doors and we ask people what they're concerned about locally and nationally. And I think nearly every week I speak to someone who I think, you haven't spoken to another human being in person all week. And that isolation is so damaging and damning. But I know that so many faith groups bring people together regularly and across generations and backgrounds and create opportunities for meaningful connection. And in doing so, they build stronger communities and foster trust across society. And in a multicultural city like ours, well-being depends on our ability to live well together. And we must strive for a more constructive approach, one that isn't about erasing differences, but are about embracing them and allowing individuals to retain their cultural and religious identities while also contributing to a shared national story. And in doing so, I think that interfaith dialogue has never been so important. And at a time globally when some politicians and some agitators and a polarised media landscape far too often pit communities against each other, open dialogue is the only way forward. Because without that continued engagement, without real connection, we leave a vacuum that can be filled by division and misinformation and hate. But with it, we build better understanding, we build trust, we build a future that is stronger and more unified and more hopeful. So the task ahead is to build on what I know already exists, to strengthen partnerships, to support the spaces where people come together, and to ensure that faith communities continue to play a full and valued part of our shared future. And I think that is exactly what initiatives like Christianity Month will help us to do. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Catherine. So we'll move into that part of our evening where we're going to hear and see what three of our organisations are up to. And we're going to start off with something called Healing Rooms. And Nikki is going to come to share about Healing Rooms and tell you a little bit about the backdrop of that. Simon Shaw and I are very privileged, along with some others here, to be part of that on the advisory board. And it's great to share in that ministry. So over to you, Nikki. Oh.
Thanks,
Chris. Someone missed the opportunity for behind you.
Yeah, behind you. So our first slide. Now, people saying, well, this isn't a church. What are you doing? Healing Rooms usually meets. They're part of Healing Rooms UK, and you can have appointments in different churches to go and be prayed for. Well, this is called Healing Rooms in the Marketplace. And Costa Coffee across the UK are very keen for groups to come in, trained groups to come in, and then they host opportunities for clients or friends or whoever to come and be prayed for. So this is Costa in Chellaston. And one of our leaders had a real vision. They'd been involved in it over in Stoke, and for something to happen in Derby, and this one was earmarked in Chellaston. The staff are very supportive, the area manager was dead keen, and so we've been running about 18 months now. So, next slide. So this is the team, and you can see that there's a real mix of ages, which is really good, and it's an inter-church initiative. So we ran the training from Healing Rooms UK at our church, which is Reach Derby, but we have got people from different churches across Derby, which is really great. And so every Thursday we gather at 4:30, we put the banner up, and then we have a number of people coming in, or we're expecting people to come and visit, and we offer prayer, put our lanyards on, and off we go. So that's our team. That was on the launch night, September 4 last. So these are three members of the team, just to illustrate what it looks like. So we get together and split into groups. If somebody comes in, they see our banner or they've got a prearranged appointment, we come and say, come and be prayed for. So we make sure that we always honor the business. So we get them a coffee. And being prayed for in the marketplace is quite different to being prayed for at church, because there's no touching unless you've gained consent for the person you're praying for, and there's no closing of eyes. So it's a bit like, if people are looking at you, it's a bit like you're just sharing a coffee, just having a drink together. But so there's two people, and then the person has come for some prayer. And one person will sort of discern, well, what's the Holy Spirit saying about this person? Obviously, they're telling us what they'd like prayer for. And so it's discerning, and it's giving those people time. And sometimes we find people haven't spoken to somebody for a while, or they've come with something and they just want some time out for people to listen, or people who don't know them to come and listen. Like there are people who've had prayer in church, but they just want somebody who doesn't know them, and they just want to share from their heart, and then we can pray with them. Now, sometimes we never see people again, and we just trust God, with that person. But sometimes people come back and give us their testimony, which is really, really encouraging. And so we invite anybody, anybody here or anybody who would like to pop in every Thursday, 4:30 till 6. We would love to see you, and we would spend time with you, and we're, totally confidential, and we'd just love to come and see you. You come and see us, rather. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Nikki. I was privileged. I spent 20 years down on Portland, as some people from here will know, in ministry, and was on an advisory board of healing rooms then. Healing rooms have slightly changed over the years, much more in the marketplace now. One of the great delights we had as an advisory board was having two healing rooms in slightly different areas down in Dorset set up inside GP surgeries. So it was a holistic and complementary approach to healing, in the same way you might go to a GP surgery for counselling. It might not be a doctor doing it. So sensitively done, working in partnership. We even had one team set up inside and with the approval of a hospital as well. So it's just amazing the connections that you can make and the way that you can interact with people and connect with people. So thank you so much, Nikki, for sharing that with us. So now we're on to redeeming our communities with Kaz.
Thank you. We don't have any next slides, because I'll just move a lot to keep your attention for the next 5 minutes. I'll attempt 5 minutes. So Redeeming Our Communities was invited actually by the police back in July 2024 into quite a specific area. So within Derby there are different communities, as we all know. We all know that within Derby as well there is real tribal communities, just borders that people connect with and don't. And so the police had done a survey amongst themselves and decided that there was one area of the city that had these really high scores on most issues, therefore was the one that they really wanted to support with. And that area was the area that's called the Abbey Ward. So we are literally on the edge of the Abbey Ward where we are now. It's quite a small community in the grand scheme of things for a Redeeming Our Communities project, because actually the whole of Peterborough is a Redeeming Our Communities project. But we are really fortunate in that we were able to really hone in on a community. So back in July 2024, we met at Benrose School and connected with different people. And so I came in with Simon at that point. Simon just asked me to be there. I knew some of what was going on with Redeeming Our Communities, and also, having spent years in youth work here in the city, knew Stockbrook only too well, and the community. I'm invested in that community because my boys are at Cathedral School, and so I want that area of the city to be safe, obviously. but I want the traffic to flow as well, in Jesus' name, and all sorts of other issues that would be focused around that community. And so we met at Benrose School, and the tables were there, and we chatted, different faith groups, different counsellors and community members and charities. And that's where we started. And then between Simon and I, we share a job role of 14 hours a week and just began to connect with the community. And have found just a real gem. I love that area of the city. I love the rich history of that part of the city. And I love the community support and development, how everybody cares about everybody in that community. If you sneeze in that community, everybody else knows. Genuinely, they recognize my car in a good way. People. But everybody knows everybody and everyone's connected. And so the police obviously had to then do some kind of performance review and to work things out. And over the first 4 months, they really started to begin to see crime rates drop. And they started to begin to see communities engage in each other and communicating to each other and started to believe in each other. And so we then roll forward to just recently, at the end of 25, won an award alongside the police for an innovation award, a problem-solving award. So we went to Derbyshire Police's awards night and were able to receive an award seeing that community changed and seeing the crime rates dropping and seeing that people care now about their street. And we're continuing to see that as well. And so what do? Actually, Simon and I, we drink a lot of tea with people and eat cake as well if we have to. But it's just like, it's a power of tea and cake. Just power of tea and cake. But we spend time, so last week I sat with a resident and she has a dream of setting up just a safe space for women to come and share their emotions. Last week I was chatting with 3 different community groups that are coming together. I'm going to do something on Children's Day, which is actually an international thing that we just don't celebrate that often in the UK. We saw a Christmas fair. We've connected with the football team over there. We've connected with our Abbey, which is a project over there. And I've been involved in some of the work around that and some of the uniform challenges and other things as well. And then we've also connected with a drop-in group on a Tuesday night. We're working with one of the local vicar there, Father Peter, to set up a bereavement space for people just to come once a month and talk and connect. And the principle is this: a connected community is a safer community. It used to be that ladies especially used to roll up our net curtains and know everything about everybody on the street. And some people do in that area. But actually what we found is when people sit having a cup of tea together or coffee, okay, you coffee drinkers, or juice or whatever, when people are together around a table, eating and celebrating, when people know what's happening with a WhatsApp group, when people are connected up, what we've discovered is the community is safer because they know each other. And it has been a privilege of mine to go into homes and sit with older people and say, hey, it's safe, it's okay, and connect them with local charities. There is so many good things, as you've said, happening within that community, and yet the story is that's a really rough community and, oh, you wouldn't want to live there. You actually would, because everyone loves each other there. There genuinely is a sense of care. There's an incredible bowling club, Crown Green, not the cool one. But they're launching a project with the local schools to get them into a safe space. There's a gardening space. There's so much happening because a connected community is a safer community. And so we stand alongside them and communicate. We don't do anything too exciting. We're just there and present. And just continue to see what's happening within the Abbey what the beautiful spaces in the city, and hopefully one day we'll even be able to get traffic to flow. We are working on that. I personally am working on yelling at every other driver on the road to get them to move most mornings on the school run. But yeah, just seeing connections, seeing the schools connect, seeing Cathedral School volunteer, even like tonight to the lads, and seeing Benrose do tea dances for older people. And those fears are going, because a connected community is a saviour community, and that is Isaiah 61, isn't it? That is what the church is all about. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you so much, Kaz. It's incredible, isn't it, what partnership can do, what walking alongside one another can do, and crime rates falling. And it's not a massively complicated formula, is it? In the same way that there are some here that are street pastors tonight. Another massive initiative, and just about everywhere they go, the crime figures fall again. It's not a complicated formula again. Just being with people. It's great, isn't it? The well-being of the city. In a moment, I'll invite Simon to come and draw things to a close. We've still got a little bit of time left, so we haven't got to rush. But I do commend this month, this forthcoming month of May, to you as Christianity Month. You may want to come along to something, and maybe something here in one of the leaflets that you've got. You may want to do a Google to see what's happening in other places. You may want to simply repost the logo on a Facebook page or something, or see if you can start something trending. All that's fine. And in a few years, we've moved a little bit, because if you put Christianity Month in your search engine now, you will get hits and you will get things, and you will find you can download logos and you get information sheets. And a couple of years ago, that wouldn't really have happened. So all the time, we're kind of moving forward. It'd be great if you could be a part of that. Thank you ever so much. Over to Simon.
Thanks so much, Chris. Another round of applause for Genetic, I think. Thanks for working so hard on that. What a wonderful way to begin to bring together a wonderful evening. And glad we got to see you before you do Britain's Got Talent or something like that. That's next time. Speaking of talent, few people that I want to thank in the room. Hopefully we're getting a flavour for what Christianity Month is all about. And as Catherine was saying, just the ability to celebrate good news and good stories and things that are happening across our city. So I think Christianity Month is such a great initiative and a great vehicle for that. And it is all the brainchild of Chris. And so can we just give Chris a round of applause for this great initiative, and for persevering and pioneering and bringing us to a fourth year. Thank you so much, Chris, for bringing us into your vision for this month. And thank you too for Little Over Methodist Church for spearheading this as well. Let's give all of the volunteers here a round of applause. Those on the sound desk, those who are welcoming. Thanks so much for all those on hospitality as well. That's been wonderful. Thank you so much, Catherine, for being with us as well. It's really meant a lot. And we just see so many pictures of you visiting charities from across the city. So just thank you so much for all your hard work. And I know that being in public office is a particularly challenging time for that. So I know whenever I see you sat behind Sakia on the benches, remember to send up a prayer for you. And I trust that we can all do that as well. In Catherine's role and Baggy's role as well. They carry so much responsibility, and I think we're blessed with two incredible MPs in this city. So let's remember to continue to pray for them in all that they're doing. Yeah, round of applause from the back. Yes. In the church calendar at the moment, following on from Easter, we're in Eastertide, where we celebrate the resurrection of Christ and how that is good news for all people and for creation. And I love the part in the story after Jesus has been crucified and then in the tomb. Mary is in the garden, and she kind of mistakes Jesus for the gardener. But maybe it's not a mistake, because I love the image of Jesus being a gardener and seen as a gardener. You know, a gardener is often quite an unassuming person, not afraid to get their hands dirty, get a bit grubby, out there in all weathers, come rain or shine, and effectively just cultivating the ground and the soil in a consistent way. And I think that's what we're called to as well, as we seek the flourishing of this city, this part of God's garden, that we would join in the work of the gardener. And just want to, Catherine again was talking about the importance of engagement. So maybe you've been, I know I'm singing to a lot of the choir here, you're all doing a lot of good work, but maybe you've been provoked to join in the work of a charity that you've seen out there today. Maybe you've been provoked to pray for a charity or volunteer your time. But I do want to kind of leave us with that challenge, that how are we going to engage with what we've heard tonight and what we've heard shared tonight, so that we can continue the good work that God is doing across this city. And we do have a couple of things that are coming up in May that might be of interest to you. On the 17th of May, Sunday the 17th, we are gathering in the morning at the Valent venue. Lots of, across all different denominations, all different church backgrounds. Tickets are free. But we do want people to book tickets because we have a certain kind of capacity that we're allowed. We're getting close to that, actually. We've got just a few hundred tickets left for that event. But it's going to be a wonderful celebration to come together from across all of our different denominations and backgrounds and celebrate our oneness, celebrate our unity together. There it is. Thanks, guys. So everyone's welcome to that on the 17th of May at the Valent at 11 a.m. Do join us for that celebration where we'll be baptizing people as well. And also, I think just to begin to share a little bit more of all the good things and all the good initiatives that are coming out of churches and charities in this city, we're beginning a bit of a mapping exercise where we're going to be talking to different church leaders, charity leaders, and just wanting to gather together that information just so that we can join the dots and share a bit more freely, a bit more widely, all the good stuff that is happening across this city on a daily basis. So that's something that Kaz is going to be taking the lead on over the coming weeks and months. So if you're here if you're a church leader here or charity leader, do get in touch with Kaz and she'll do a short interview with you just to gather that information. And we hope to share that later in the year as well, and build on the good of Christianity Month and build on all the good that is happening here. So, thank you so much for being here. Thank you again, Chris, for your welcome. And let's celebrate Christianity Month together, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. And looks like the weather's with us as well, which makes it even better, doesn't it? So, give yourselves a big round of applause, and it's been great to see you. Thanks to all those who have come to share about their charities as well. We really appreciate you. And do take one last look around the stands before you go. Thanks very much.